Hello all, welcome to our ZoidRush video. I'm your host, Tmzoids, also known as Tony. And today, we're going to be talking about Chalk Talk with Tony. That's right, Chalk Talk with Tony. Ironically, I've been thinking about making this video for a while, prior to, of course, Ludwig making his video about Mogul Mail and how he dislikes that channel. And then, of course, you had Charlie, Moist Critical, talking about his own situation and drama on his channel. So, woo, content! I tell you, original content, woo! No, but I've made videos in the past about reflection, and I've made update videos, as you can call them. And a lot of times, it's just like I'm gonna post more videos, and I'm gonna do more chalk talks, and I'm gonna do this and that. And I do. I always, my intention's always to make more videos and make more content for YouTube, and of course Twitch once in a while streaming. Of course, YouTube videos are a little bit easier to put out because I can just record them, edit them, which is very lack editing, which we'll talk about right now. But I digress. Let's talk about Chalk Talk with Tony. First things first, I was a little overambitious when I first thought about Chalk Talk with Tony. If you asked me a couple years ago, what do you prefer, ZoidRush or Chalk Talk with Tony? 9 out of 10 times I would tell you I prefer Chalk Talk with Tony. Now, of course, if you go to my channel, I like to say that Chalk Talk with Tony would be every Friday and the ZoidRush video would be every Wednesday. And that means there'd be 4 videos of Chalk Talk with Tony within a month, which is highly unrealistic expectations. Thinking back now, of course, back then I was like, oh, there's plenty of people that want to do it. I can pump these out, no problem. And the editing, like I said, is very, not very intensive. Now, of course, could I upgrade the editing a little bit? Yes, I could probably zoom into somebody's face when they're talking, zoom into my face when they're talking, because it's all done through webcam, through Discord, or whatever the case, whatever program we're using. And could there be a little bit of editing to it? Yes. Do I think it's going to make or break anything? No, because the style, the border that I use, of course, the Chalk Talk border, of course, looks good in my opinion. And then it's just me probably being partly lazy, and then me going, well, if they were here in person, it would make a lot more sense, right? Because if you're here in person, you have the table, you can do different shots, you can have me, you can have them, you can do the full screen, full shot, the over the shoulder shot. There are different shots if you ever went to TV or filming school of any sorts. You kind of know what I'm talking about. Bird's eye view, this shot, that shot, whatever the case may be. That's why you see a lot of moving shots in movies, is to keep your attention. It's just not just to be like, oh, because it'd be boring to watch a movie in one specific shot for 2 hours straight, pretty much. But yes, I was a little bit over ambitious, and that has nothing to do with what Chalk Talk was now. Now, for people that are wondering, do I still like Chalk Talk? Yes, but it's been really exhausting lately. Uh, and it's something that I think is new and not really new at the same time. So I've been doing YouTube for a long time, as you know. And back when I first decided these shows, right, I really like Chalk Talk with Tony. I really learned something new, and I like collaborating with people. I like interviewing people, and that's where I shine, I think. These also do well. But if you look at my analytics, Chalk Talk with Tony blows these out of the water 9 out of 10 times, every time. It's only if I'm talking about a specific thing. And I think I've, transformed ZoidRush a little bit to make it a little bit more interactive. You can see things on the screen now. I've gotten a lot of inspiration from Bloodwig, of course, and other YouTubers that do similar ideas. It's just not me talking to a camera like I am now. That being said, Chalk Talk with Tony has been exhausting. And the first things first, I want to say I love all my guests. I love all my future guests. I love all the guests that I've had on there. I've had on Chalk Talk with Tony, and anybody that I've interacted with, I love dearly. And there's nothing personal to anybody. It's just been kind of exhausting. And I've learned this. You can learn a little bit more about this with Cutie Cinderella. And I say this because she has had a much more higher scale, much more level than I am doing. I'm doing a one-on-one, right? I'm just dealing with one person at a time. Of course, you have to keep in mind, I don't have a team. I don't have an assistant. I don't have anybody that messages anybody. I don't have anybody that reaches out to anybody. It's all me. I do it. I film it. I edit it if I'm going to edit anything, which I usually just rip it now. And then I post it, reach out to the people, set up the time, set up the dates, set up the questions, do everything that you can think of if there's a team. I don't have Sean Evans' team. I always, when I'm looking at hot ones, that's something to be inspired to be, because thinking about it, he does an interview show. And no matter what guest he has on, he always gets that, wow, that's a really good question. Where'd you get that question from? Wow, you really did your research. It doesn't fail. Whatever that person is, he's got a great team. And even though when he had a smaller team and it was just him and a few other people that were just working on hot ones, they did an amazing job. He has amazing research and tools that I can aspire to be one day, hopefully. That being said, like I said, Cutie Cinderella goes over this and whine about it when she's talking about the Streamer Awards. Like I said, she's got a lot more to it. She's got the catering, she's got the seating, awards that are presented, red carpet interviews, if they're presenting an award, if they're getting an award, if they're nominated for an award, this, that, and other thing. There's a lot of things. And you learn that people suck. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. People kind of suck. And I just don't think it's a streamer thing. It could be just a streamer thing that people are introverted and don't want to say no. And that's where my first pet peeve is that you never get a response from a lot of people. You reach out to them, and there's people that even ask you sometimes, because you share communities with people, you see people, they see your video, you promote your video from somebody else, and they're like, oh, why don't you ask this person? 9 out of 10 times, I've asked that person, believe it or not. But people just overall kind of suck at responding. And I don't know if it's just they're afraid of saying no, if they're afraid of losing me in the community, because just to give you a little background information, so I don't just go and randomly just go to a channel, message them, and be like, I want to interview you. I kind of scope them out, give a vibe, a feel, right? Because you don't want to go into a channel who streams once and never streamed ever again. Now, that being said, there are people that I've interviewed in the past that don't stream anymore. They stream under different names. They're VTubers now. They've changed their username, whatever the case might be. There's a lot to it, of course. But, I just try and get good vibes from them just to see their energy, where they're coming from, their interaction with stream, something that maybe they get asked a lot that maybe I could throw in the interview and, cover in the video. Because that was the main part of the videos, where it's always about the streamer, the general questions that they always get asked or were asked of, right, in their streams. And then there's just a centralized video, and maybe you can learn something new, right? For example, when I was interviewing Weka Sui, which you can check that interview out, she talked about having a gated community. Now, here in the United States, when I think about a gated community, I think you're rich. Like, I think you are famous. You need guards out in your, blocking the gate, and us always sitting at the gate going, who are you seeing? What are you doing here? Who do you know? And checking the list, checking it twice. She's talking about a gated community because it's dangerous, and talked about how childhood was really shaped and changed and formed differently than, somebody just going outside and playing. You talk about going outside and playing, which is ironic now because technology's, consumed us a lot. But back in the day, she didn't have that opportunity. It was very dangerous, and parents were very weary of you going out and, just enjoying and playing games. Now, that being said, reaching out, like I said, my pet peeve is, please say no. This is the first thing that I'm going to say, right? And let me talk you through the process, because I want you to know, I keep it very professional. I don't ask you in stream. I'm not just like, hey, how's it going today? Blah, blah, blah. Do you want to do a chalk talk with Tony? Blah, 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 blah. No, I don't do that. Now, I've changed my ways a little bit of how I reach out to people, and for various reasons, because one, I've gotten older, and two, I've realized that my etiquette might be the best, when it comes to things. It depends on the streamer and how our interactions are and how open they are about it and talking about it on stream, and how much they want to keep it through emails or DMs, whatever the case may be. But I always look out for an email. I email them on the email that they have for their Twitch or their Twitter, wherever their case may be, a business inquiry email. I do it that way. I don't reach out to them. I don't DM them. I don't, mention it in stream or anything. I reach out personally through that email. And because it's a business inquiry, I want them to think that I'm professional, and I have a little spiel that, doesn't really change much. I just change the username and blah, 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 blah. Link them my stuff, the playlist, the most recent video, boom. Now, I do ask and stream a couple days later, or ask in the Discord, because one, that email is usually old. Some people don't ever update their stuff on Twitch. Their business emails are like hella old. Their emails aren't working anymore or inactive because they had it going to a different server or this, that, the other thing. It goes to spam and all these other things. So it's just more of a thing like, hey, did you get my email? yes. It's not like, hey, blah, 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 blah. No. Did you get my email? Now, from this point, I've changed how I've done things. In the past, I would kind of keep asking here and there periodically in the Twitch channel, hey, did you check my email? Hey, did you check my email? That gets kind of annoying, kind of, changes the vibe of the community. I don't want to take anything from their stream or the community, and I don't want them to have any pressure, especially if they want to say no, which usually half the time I don't get a no, I just get a no response, or hey, I got your email, or I can need to respond to that. And it's like, just tell me no, please. Just tell me no. But I've changed it. I asked once or twice. If they said yes, I got your email. I just need to respond to it. I send a follow-up email. I'm like, hey, this is a follow-up. Still interested in interviewing you, blah, 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 right? And that should be it, right? Wrong. Because half the time, sometimes there's memes. Like there is one channel that they were notorious for not checking their email. And it was like a running joke, like, oh, you should check your DM, you should check your email, blah, blah, blah. And then there was like a thing where my name was mentioned. They're like, I haven't even checked this person's email, blah, 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 blah. And what really sucked or really hurt, kind of, no's do suck, don't get me wrong. But it was a meme. So it was like a constant thing, blah, 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 blah. I just remember bringing it up one day because I was like, oh, this is kind of funny. I was like, have you checked your email? Blah, 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 blah. All right. And they said, oh, I checked that a while ago. I didn't think that was a thing anymore. And that kind of sucked to hear. I'm going to be honest, because I was like, why? Well, one, if you were interested, you should have emailed me or reached back out and said, hey, this is a cool concept. I'm still interested in doing this. Or, hey, I don't know if this is still a thing, but I'm not interested. And it kind of sucked. It kind of sucked hearing that because it was like, it was such a running meme, and then to hear that they actually did check my email now, like reality, like just hits you right there live. This is live streaming. And they're like, oh, I checked it. I didn't know it was a thing anymore. And, me being persistent and being a dummy, I sent up a follow email. God knows if that was ever checked. Saying, hey, this is still a thing. I'm still interested in, interviewing you. Still want you to be on the show. But it did suck because I just wish, and there's a lot of people who do this. They're like, oh, I checked your email. I need to respond to it, or I haven't responded to it yet. And it's just like, I sit there and wait in participation because I do. I reach out to people that I want to interview. I want on my YouTube channel. And, it just sucks that you're just kind of dangling the carrot. And like I said, I don't know if that's just because, you're afraid of me saying no in the community, or saying no, like, whatever the case may be, if I'm going to be angry or whatever the case may be. And then I'm not angry. I'd rather you say no instead of just trailing me along like, oh, like a parent. Like, maybe we'll go to the park. Just tell me no. Just tell me no. That's my first pet peeve of things. And I said things were frustrating and annoying at parts of time with people behind the scenes. I do everything, like I said. Which leads me into my next part. So then when people are usually interested, two things happen. Usually they go, hey, I'm interested. Message me on my Discord, usually. And I am flexible. I'm a very flexible person. I think I'm very, very flexible. If they said, hey, I'm interested, download AIM Messenger and message me, add me on AIM, boom, add me, I would. I would download AIM, I'd download Skype, I would download whatever you want me to message you on. I'm going to message you. We'll set up times, we'll set up a date. And has that changed a little bit? Yes. I'm not going to lie. When I first started doing this and when I first created Chalk Talk with Tony, I was younger. I was in school still. I had a part-time job, and things were, easier. If you wanted to film at 3 a.m, I'm gonna film at 3 a.m. You want to film on a Tuesday? I'm filming on a Tuesday because I had a random Tuesday off. Now I'm older. I'm out of school. I have a career. I say that loosely. It is a career, but I have a career. I have a set schedule. I'm full time now. I have these set days off, and things can get a little messy because it doesn't work for everybody. But I do my best, right? If you want to be interviewed at nighttime, if you want to interview in the morning, my time, when I'm saying this, it's usually my time thing, whatever time it is. And I've in the past, it was nighttime on some of those videos that you wouldn't even notice. I mean, you see the light on, but you don't know what really time it is. Sometimes it's the evening, sometimes it's the morning. It really doesn't matter. Anything works for me. And, reaching out to people now, it just seems like it's like playing phone tag, and it does get exhausting because you want to work with these people, and these aren't really nice people, but it is exhausting. This part next is just like playing phone tag with people. There is one individual that I'm still trying to interview and trying to set up a date. They said the day would come, they would be forgetful, streamer brain. And then we'd have to reschedule a day. Out of all those times that happened, I actually had streamer brain once, and I actually had to reschedule because they're like, hey, I'm here, I'm ready, are we still doing this? And then because they messaged me earlier in the day and said, still for 7, right? And I said, yep, still for 7 o'clock. And then I'm like, 7 o'clock, I got plenty of time. I'm mowing the lawn. I'm doing adult stuff, and I'm like dripping sweat. And it's like 6 o'clock. I'm like, okay, I can take a shower. I'll be on by 6:35, 6:40-ish. And then I can message him and good. And he's messaging me at 6. He's like, hey, where are you? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, shit. 7 his time. So yes, it does happen sometimes. We're still, I hope, if you're watching this, I do hope we still get that interview in. He's got a lot going on, so nothing against him, but other people do that too. It's like people would be messaging me, and we didn't even have anything planned. People would message me and be like, hey, I'm gonna have to reschedule. I'm like, what were you rescheduling? We didn't even have anything planned. They're like, what? We were supposed to film today. I said, no, we never scheduled anything. So it does get exhausting. It's hard to balance sometimes. Like I said, that is, but one interaction, because I am very flexible and very, very nice and very persistent. One interaction just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And this is when things really got sour, and I've really slowed down lately. And that was not the case, but I messaged this one individual, the formality, did the email. Didn't get the email because I guess the server or some weird thing was going on. So they said, here, direct email, whatever you want to do, blah, blah, blah. So I messaged them, yada, yada, yada. And then they're like, hey, this sounds great. I like this idea. I was like, all right, perfect. Now, I'm going to give you, a multiple choice. You think they said, A, message me on Discord, DM me. B, they say, hey, you should message me in this private chat that I made. It's just me and you and a few others in this private chat within my Discord. C, message me in general chat. Let's just have a conversation there. Or D, did you think that could you message me on this higher tier sub that's only, or sub chat that's only unlocked if you're a higher tier sub in the channel, and you only get that access to Discord if you're that sub. Give you a second there. Hold on. If you said D, you are correct. Yes. They said, hey, I appreciate the formality, but if you can message me in this Discord, that'd be great. This Discord channel. So one, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, I was like, I don't really like this. One, I keep a lot of things private for a few reasons. It just gives a suspense of who I'm interviewing next. Gives that surprise for their guests and their community, gives a surprise for me. And it just like, then things are a little bit more, I just like to keep things under wraps, especially if things don't work out or the show never happens and people ask about it and then something falls through and then it just gets messy if they say no or I say no or whatever the case. I've never said no, but if they say no or things get weird or for some odd reason it doesn't get posted or it never gets made, I don't want people to be like, hey, whatever happened to this? What's going on with this? And it just saves that for the streamer's point of view and my point of view, right? It just, less drama that way. And like, nobody really announces that stuff anyway. Only if they have events going on and they'll have people there that are confirmed that are going, then they announce those people. That's one thing. And then even then, right, when people have to cancel like last minute, if people get sick, then people start freaking out. You see this all the time with streamer events. They're like, oh, look at this. They didn't go to their event, or this person wasn't there, or this person wasn't invited, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this person won't get invited, blah, 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 blah. See how much the drama that is for no reason. But anyway, so this happened, and like I said before, I'm very flexible, so that's what I do. I messaged him there. And they said, hey, blah, 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 blah. And of course, all the tier 3 people, because it was a tier 3 channel. I'm not going to lie. It was a tier 3 channel. Of course, mods are in there. Maybe their managers in there, and they're in there. And, I don't know if they wanted to use me as an example or whatever the case may be, or whatever I don't want to take away their past experiences. That's not what my goal is here. And I'm not talking poorly about it. It's just my point of view. I have to be a little bit more firmer in the future. But so, of course, I message him there. And what's the first thing? People are talking. So people are having their own conversation in that channel, which is what you're supposed to do. That's a tier 3 channel. There's a bunch of tier 3 people chit-chatting. And of course, people see my message and they're like, what's this? What's going on? And I'm just trying to keep it on the down low. I'll be like, oh, me and so-and-so are just trying to do something and blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, they chime in. They said, no, they're going to do an interview. He wants to interview me, blah, 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 blah. So then people are like, oh, cool. That'd be interesting. That's really cool. Awesome. Awesome, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know, like I said, their past experiences, whatever the case may be, maybe they wanted to, use this as an example and just set boundaries or be reassured that boundaries are, met for people. And like I said, I did it a professional way. I emailed them. I didn't bring it up in chat. I didn't ask. I didn't demand anything. I didn't expect anything. I never do. I don't expect, because I am a sub in your channel, or if I support your channel, I've been there for 17 years or whatever the case may be, that I demand anything. That's not, if I come across that way, that's not how I want to come across. And I apologize if anybody has ever felt that way in the past. And I apologize now if that is the case, but I don't think I've ever made that, even for this person that I'm talking about. I don't think I've ever made that apparent or that I expected anything. So, they start using me as an example about money. And I'm going to talk about money in a second, because they wanted monetary value. And then just real quick in the email, I never mentioned anything about monetary value. Everybody guessed that Spin on Chalk Talk with Tony has been a voluntary thing. Nobody's ever been paid. I don't even get paid. YouTube doesn't pay me. But we'll talk about that a little bit more because that is a thing. But he talks about monetary, about being paid. And then my dumbass brain was like, hey, well, I am supporting you right now, tier 3. That ain't cheap. It's a monthly thing. And then that was a dumb thing to say. I just want to be very clear right off the rip. Because I'm a sub, and I just said this, I don't expect anything being a sub. I just felt it weird that I'm paying you already, just paying you just generously, subscribing to you generously. And then you're talking about monetary value. And a tier 3 channel, I get it. It sets an example for other people that just people don't get to have these privileges or opportunities with you because you're a sub. I get that now. It was a dumb thing to say, but I did say that I'm a tier 3 sub. Isn't that enough? I'm going to be completely honest. They said, no, that's definitely not enough. And it makes sense. And it makes total sense. It was a dumb thing to say. So then we're continuing on, and I'm still trying to have this conversation, even though I'm getting used as an example. That's fine. I'm like, I still want to interview this person. I'm excited. This is kind of getting frustrating because people are talking, things are going on. He's responding to other people, and it's like, it's just a jungle mess, right? And then I'm getting used as an example, and I'm like, well, if you don't want to do it, or if that's what you want to do, we can always talk about money behind the scenes, right? You can DM me and said, hey, more and more I think about this, I wouldn't want to get paid. That's a whole different thing. But if you're going to use me as an example and then be like, no, I still want to do it, then it's like, all right. So then, things are going on. They post a YouTube video from their channel, and I said, hey, maybe one day you could switch to YouTube or do whatever you want to do on YouTube, and maybe YouTube will be your thing. And people started joking about that, and everybody's laughing. They're like, did you even do any research? You want to interview this person? You don't know what's going on? Lo and behold, they had several thousand subscribers on YouTube. Now I would not know this from their Twitch. Of course, most people from their YouTube will not transfer over to their Twitch, and people on their Twitch don't really transfer over to YouTube. So I didn't know this. Like I said, I do this on my own. I do all the research, I do this, and I'm not going to start doing research on somebody, even if you say you're interested, which people do. People say that you're interested, but I'm not going to start doing it, research on you right off the rip, because who knows, it could be a month and a half time before we even do an interview. And if I'm interviewing people in between, those people are going to take priority, right? And if you said no, I'm not going to start doing research prior. Like, I don't do research prior, be like, oh, this person's perfect to interview, blah, blah. Like I said, if I get your vibe, this, that, it has nothing to do with numbers. It's not that you had this many subscribers, this many viewers, whatever the case may be, which we'll talk about at the end with the money part. So keep that in mind. So they're now ripping into me. Their manager, their significant other, or both really, are ripping into me, giving me shit about that because, you know, if I was going to do an interview, I should know these things. And I will know those things when the interview happens. But I'm not going to start doing research if a day or time's not set, right? So long story short, all this is going on. And then it was like an ultimatum almost, right? They said, hey, I just need, there's like, let's cut all the crap out of it. I need a date, time, and how long it's going to take and what I need. First off, when people ask what I need, it's a weird question for me because you're on webcam. I'm like, you just need yourself or a prop if you're going to use a prop of some sort. If you have that on your stream, or if that's like part of your, like, you know, stream persona, have that. But when people are like, what do I need? I don't know, a glass of water, or whatever you want, you know, your sponsors in the background, whatever the case may be, right? That's what you need. I don't know. It's always a weird question. I try and answer that question because people do ask that a lot. It's a weird question. So I was like, screw it. At this point, I am frustrated, right? I'm going to use an example of people are making fun of me because I'm like, I didn't do my research, even though nothing's set in stone. So I give this date, time, how long it's going to be, usually an hour and a half. So I gave an hour and a half time. And then, you know, you need yourself. That was all I said, right? Boom. How's that work? Crickets. This person just stops responding. They stop responding. Their significant other stops responding. And then eventually a mod was nice enough, was like, tagged me. He responded to my comment. It was like, hey, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I think they're out of town that day. I'm not 100% sure, but they won't be here because of this con or whatever. And I left it at that. And I messaged a few people. I was like, this is what's going on. They're like, dude, I would have left. I wouldn't even entertain that. I would have unsubscribed, unfollowed that person, and not even engaged anymore. I don't even know why he went the lengths he went, right? So after that experience, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I actually ended up leaving their Discord. I don't subscribe to them anymore. And I'm sure they're a great person, like I said, and I'm sure I don't want to take anything away from their past. When it comes to that stuff, it was just a shitty experience. In the future, I know this stuff now, right? Like I said, I'm very flexible. I don't mind if people are going to talk about it and have questions. That's fine. If you're comfortable in a group setting, maybe prefer like a lock channel where it's just me, you, and a few other people can see. Maybe your mods, if that's the case, or your manager, your significant other, whatever you want. That makes sense, but not all your tier 3 people, and you're having general conversations, and that's going on, and this is going on. And it was just overall a shitty experience. And after that, I was like, I think I am good. That was such a terrible experience for me. I was like, I don't want to take it out on anybody else, but at the same time, I'm like, I am done. And then there was other things going on too. There are other people that I was bouncing back and forth with, and I just couldn't get videos done because collaborating with people, like I said, Cutie does this, talks about this, about whine about it, but it is a lot of work. It's rough, and I can only imagine her at her scale having multiple streamers and multiple content creators in one room and planning things. And I was stressed. I'm like, boom, done. This is it. Hey, these are the last people I'm going to interview. I want to do a podcast, which leads me into my last thing. We talked about monetary stuff. Now, I know this is a thing on TikTok. TikTok does this. They pay somebody to promote on their channel. They have thousands of views. They make whatever. They pay however money. It's not like tons of money, but they pay money. They promote their stuff. And then you can check out the artists, and that's how they get recognized. And this other social media too. It's just not TikTok. And of course, there's that famous interview with Snoop Dogg that talks about how he gets paid for being viewed or being interviewed or being showing up on screen for, you know, certain videos or music videos or singing a verse, whatever. He has an amount that he's like, this is my amount. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is how much you're paying Snoop Dogg. Okay, dog. Like, he has got that. So, that being said, I get it. Like I said, everybody's been on voluntary basis. I don't talk about monetary value in the original video. If that person, like I said, reached out to me and DM'd me and said, hey, I've been hurt in the past. I've had shitty things happen to me in the past. I'm not trying to take away from that person. I prefer that there's some monetary gain here. So if we could talk about a price, that would be something to talk about. I just want to make it very clear, though, when I'm reaching out to people, I reach out to people that have 0 to about 100 viewers, give or take. I don't go out of my range. I'm not messaging people with thousands of viewers. I'm not messaging people with hundreds and thousands and trillions and billions of viewers. I'm not reaching out to Pokimane. I'm not reaching out to Ludwig. I'm not reaching out to Valkyrie or any of these people that have like thousands and thousands of viewers. Now, if I reached out to them and they came back and said, hey, I would want to be, you know, monetarily paid because your channel's getting a big boost, right? Because the correlation, like I said earlier, a lot of your Twitch people don't jump over to YouTube and your YouTube people don't jump over to Twitch and blah, 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 blah. So I don't get any money from the video. You know, the couple of views that I get, if I got any money in the past, it was 2 cents. I'm being completely honest. And I didn't even see that 2 cents. I was with a partner back then. YouTube partner thing that probably took that 2 cents, and if they didn't get that 2 cents, YouTube probably just ate that 2 cents. I've never gotten a paycheck from YouTube. Will I ever get a paycheck? I don't know. Would it be exciting? Yes. Like I said, I don't get paid. Haven't paid anybody. It's been mostly voluntary, and I haven't had that problem in the past. That being said, would I pay somebody? Sure. If that's talked about privately, one-on-one, I would see that being an opportunity. But, you know, the only person that I have ever reached out to is actually Cutie Cinderella, actually, when I talk about her, to be a red carpet host, just because I wanted to interview. I wanted to be, this is what I do, Chalk Talk with Tony, wanted to be interview people and red carpet host. And if she said you can't be in the event or you had to be up top with the rest of the guests, that's fine. I would have been A-okay with that. That video's public. You can go check that video out if you really want to. I shoot my shot, and it's 100% chance you don't take. I don't think she's ever seen it. She probably will never see it in the future, which is okay too. Totally understandable. Totally get it. I just had to try. Sometimes, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I get it. Overall, Chalk Talk with Tony, where's that now? There'll probably be interviews in the future. There are people that I want to interview. Have I reached out to? No. As I mentioned earlier, there is one person that I still want to interview. I've thought about switching to a podcast setting, just have one individual person that's consistently like making videos with me. And that's been talked about on and off here and there. There's a few things that we just never agree on. Of course, it wouldn't be under Chalk Talk. It would be a different name. The name we couldn't agree on, and then what would we talk about? It just seems like, I don't know. And there's a lot of podcasts. It's very saturated right now, so it's like, it's hard to convince people, even though it's been a thing that I've wanted to do for a while. Is Chalk Talk going away? No. Am I frustrated with Chalk Talk? Am I taking a break? Yes. You probably won't see a Chalk Talk video. You didn't see one last month. You probably won't see one this month. Only if I reach out to 1 or 2 individuals. Like I said, there are people that I still want to interview, and there will be at least definitely one more interview for 2024 down the line once their personal stuff is getting situated and they're more, you know, situated with their day-to-day. But overall, I just wanted to be more open, be honest with Chalk Talk Tony stuff. And hopefully this gives you an idea of like the behind-the-scenes stuff. It is fun. Like I said, I enjoy and love all my guests. I appreciate everybody that's been on Chalk Talk with Tony. This isn't goodbye. It is added to the podcast section of YouTube now, so go check that out. Go check out the playlist. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, guys. Bye now.